Okay?
Call this off to order. Motion this off to now for it to be discussion on the threats or nothing to invite the Prime Minister. Please decide on it.
Mr. Speaker, for too long, women in the third world have suffered incredible violence at the hands of their fellow men. For too long, the West has stood aside and ignored what has been happening in the third world. And we say that the time has come for us to take strong action, but the women there deserve our protection, just like anyone else on this planet. So let's go into the policy then. Well, obviously we're talking about third world countries that receive foreign aid. And what kind of aid are we talking about? We're talking about developmental aid, not obviously humanitarian aid. That must still carry on because I think that's humane. And what we really require these countries to do for them to be eligible to keep getting such developmental aid. They have to do three things, or rather four things. Firstly, they must enact domestic violence legislation, i.e. laws that make it illegal for women to be hurt in their own house by a husband, by a family, and the like. Secondly, we will require these countries to set up equal opportunity legislation, which means laws that allow these women to get equal access to employment, wherever they go around trying to get a job, and thus discrimination against them will be unlawful. Thirdly, we will have equal access to education being guaranteed by these governments, i.e. we will ensure that schools do not turn away females from schools, and that the government makes a concerted effort to encourage families to send their kids or their daughters to school. The fourth thing is obviously that local NGOs and Western NGOs will be given a lot of money and support from the government to actually check on these policies, ensure the laws are actually followed through and not just passed but nothing is done. So how do we ensure that this policy is feasible? Well, Mr. Speaker, like I already alluded to, local NGOs and Western NGOs that operate on the ground, they will report on how the local authorities are actually enforcing these laws that are passed, and whether or not they're getting enough support from the government. And if it is found that progress is not satisfactory, these local governments are not doing enough honestly, then the aid will be cut, and cuts will be carried on until finally there's something left for all if still the government remains obstinate, obviously. So that's what we stand for, and that's what we'll do. So I'm going to talk about Charlie, how this policy helps women in the third world, and show you how the status quo is really something that we cannot leave lying around. Yes, ma'am.
And enforcing women's rights comes about when you change the mentality of the women themselves, because they actually expect, they're grown up in a culture that they expect these things to happen to them.
Or that may be true, they expect to be beaten up, but that's not a good thing, right? And we should try to find a way to short circuit that process, ensure that they see the light, and that comes from forcing the government to ensure that they get access to education. That's how I think the policy makes sense. But you've already asked me to explain the policy. But let's talk about what is the problem and how bad is it. Obviously, like what Charlie must be admitting to already, in the third world, the problem is dire. Women are being treated badly in every single way. There's a huge disparity. For example, in the field of education, women virtually don't get any access to education in the third world. They're forced to marry young, and they don't get any access to learning skills that can allow them to be independent and employed. And the result is they become vulnerable to abuse. Thousands of women we know are killed or hurt massively in things like honor killings, or they're forced into prostitution and or they're often disfigured or beaten up daily in the third world. It's something that they're used to, you may agree, Charlie, but something that they don't have to get used to, they have to get used to. So why is it that we can't rely on the status quo? Why is it they can't allow the status quo to deal with this problem? We say development as it's happening per se, the economic growth on its own will take too long to ensure that these women are given the rights they need. Why is that so? Because like what Charlie herself said, the culture of patriarchy is prevalent in these countries. Religion is often even used now to justify oppression in the regard. And we pointed an example of how America, for example, only gave women the right to vote in the 20th century, 200 years after it was first founded, which shows already how long it takes for women's rights to be given recognition when there's no external force. So how will our policy actually create change on the ground? Well, like I explained earlier, we're going to have local NGOs and Western NGOs report on how these laws are being enforced, exercised. And this is important because we say that the threats of cuts to foreign aid will force governments to actually follow through on these laws that are supposed to pass. So what are the things that we can expect? We say, firstly, you're going to see a reduction in domestic violence that is already occurring on the ground, and that's a good thing. And we say it's very easy for local NGOs to ensure that such violence is actually stopped by local authorities. Because it's physical, all you need to do is ensure that the police actually follow through with the complaint that's lodged by women, who are being hurt. Whereas what happens in the status quo is that many of these local authorities that lie out there in the rural outskirts like in Pakistan, for example, often don't bother to follow through with the reports that are made to them, and they don't actually go out and help the women who have made complaints. But secondly, the speaker, what we say is that when we actually got local NGOs empowered to say, try to encourage families to send their daughters to schools with money, then you then see a greater change in the reaction in the long run of these people. Why is that so? Because when people start to send their daughters to school in exchange for money that maybe the angels could give them, and then their daughters get educated quicker than before, then the result is you get a new breed of women out there who are a lot more enlightened of what the world can offer to them, and thus are more willing to become independent, and that's how you get change occurring on the ground. But we agree it's a long fight. We agree it's difficult to change the culture per se of these families that live out there, especially in the rural parts of in the third world. But we argue, the speaker, it doesn't mean we should try our best to give money where possible to try to create change on the ground. But even if nothing else is achieved, at least we argue, the speaker, we guarantee the physical safety of women out there in these places. And that's the most important thing that we should try to secure right now. You see, that's how we ensure benefits are achieved. So overall, Mr. Speaker, what have I showed you today? I've showed you that in the third world, there's a huge problem in regards to the equality of access of women to rights that they deserve. And we argue that among other things, they deserve to get protection from abuse, to get access to education, and to get access to economic opportunities. But what we argue is because even if we fail to give them everything that they need because of the culture of patriarchy, if we can at least secure them physical safety, they've done our part already as a first world. It's something we can definitely guarantee to them. So given that there's actually no POI is on this side of the house, and I'm going to just end my speech right now, be back to propose. Okay, I'm going to